Hi, my name is Destiny Furo, and I'm going to present to you today my fitness education project. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Health and movement assessments. The tools that were used were two tools, which were Fundamental Movement Screen Assessment, which is the FMS, and the Health History Assessment using the PAR-Q. I will go, in the next slide, I will go into detail about both of those. Materials used were the FMS kit and a yoga mat, and my client's results were that he was in shape. He did pass mostly all the assessments with a 3. However, there was some that he did not fail, which I will go into detail with the FMS faults. But he did fail to have mobility in his hips, which is the lack of hip flexion, and in his right shoulder. My program design was created to increase strength, lose body fat, and increase his flexibility and mobility, which is to help him pass those assessments that he failed in the FMS. And his 6th day is being a flexibility and mobility day that consists of yoga or Pilates. And I think this is crucial for him because, again, he did lack a lot of hip flexion and a lot of in his right shoulder. So that's going to help him in the future. According to Stahan, Schaefer, and Lorson, Halpop, Donfry, Walker, and Childs, 2012, the FMS was designed to identify functional movement defects and asymmetries that may be predictive of general musculoskeletal conditions and injuries, with an ultimate goal of being able to modify the identified movement deficits through individualized exercise prescription. So that's when the FMS comes in. There are 7 fundamental movement component tests that are scaled from 0 to 3, which is a deep squat, inline lunge, the hurdle step, shoulder mobility, active straight leg raise, trunk stability push-up, quadrant rotary stability. So the FMS is picking out, but not picking out, but it is showing what your client lacks in his body. So these 7 tests definitely showed my client what he did lack and what could help him in the future. What is PAR-Q? According to Warburton, Jamnik, Burden, McKenzie, Stone, Shepard, and Gledhill, 2011, it is estimated that 50 million persons worldwide make use of the PAR-Q on an annual basis, which is we are part of them because we did do a PAR-Q and U where we were able to sit down with our client and really see if he did have any medical history or what not to do if he did have medical history, what we shouldn't make him go through because that could injure him even more, or so we don't injure our client. So the purpose of this was to seek evidence-based support from the PAR-Q screening process and identify whether revisions of these instruments were warranted, to determine how positive responses to PAR-Q questions could be safely cleared without medical referral. Again, going back to what I said, we sit down, see if our client does have any medical issues, and we don't want to put him through something that could help or that could lead him to injury, even more injury in the future. The FMS faults. So the deep squat, my client's upper torso leaned forward, leaving weight moving forward. So all his body movement was going forward, lacking, resulting in a lack of flexion in his hips. But also, this would actually hurt him. This would actually hurt his back, and this is something that we didn't want. The hurdle step, my client had contact with the string and lost his balance, resulting in, again, minimal hip flexion and lack of asymmetric hip mobility. So going over on both sides, he did fail that until I actually put him on the block and he did get to go over. Shoulder mobility, his left side received a 3. He is left-handed, so you would imagine that he is more flexible in his shoulder on his left side. However, in his right, he received a 2, which a little compensation was involved, but he didn't get to complete it. And again, this is typically normal that one is more flexible than the other, and this is an easy fix by him doing flexibility and mobility yogas and working your movements in your arms, and even bands would help. Rotary stability, my client failed to flex shoulder while extending same hip side and his knee, resulting to fail a unilateral movement. He was able to go the other way that we want our client to go is if your left hand was out, your right leg would be out and coming back forward to touch knee to elbow, and he did complete that, but he did fail to the first, where it is the same side hip and knee. So the periodization, my client's goals was to lose body fat and increase his strength. That's a goal that I was definitely able to help him, because it's a good goal, and I did add in there, which was to increase his flexibility and mobility. So his exercise order was week 1 and 3 resistance training, upper body or lower body on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So if he's going upper body Monday, then he would do Wednesday lower body, and then Friday upper body. Week 1 and 3, the heavy interval aerobic cardio training. This will help him lose his body fat, which is on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and on Saturdays, which is Pilates for weeks 1 and 3. Exercise order week 2 and 4, I switched it up. So heavy interval training would be Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Week 2 and 4 is resistance training, so upper body or lower body on Tuesday, Thursday. So you would typically do Tuesday would be upper body and Thursday lower body, or switch it if you would, whatever he decides to do. And flexibility mobility is yogas on Saturday. So you're still having that flexibility and mobility on Saturday, and then day 7 would be rest day. Periodization continued. It is, his frequency is to be consistent, so 6 days a week, Monday through Friday, day 7 being rest day. His intensity when lifting, it is moderate. Nothing too crazy. You're lifting, your blood pressure is still up. Whereas when you're doing cardio, that is vigorous intensity, and your heart rate is really going, because you're constantly moving for a long period of time, which would be 15 to 20 minutes of running, Stairmaster, elliptical, whatever it is on the chart. The duration. So mesocycle 1, aerobic exercises vary from 10 to 20 minutes, and swim being his longest, which is 45 minutes. Mesocycle 2, aerobic exercises vary from 15 to 30 minutes, so we bumped that up to being a longer cardio session. And your resistance training is not timed. It's completed when all sets are done. However, I told my client, make sure it's done. I'd rather have it right than rushing through it. Take your time, feel the burn, make it feel good. So the style was linear and traditional. You're progressing through each cycle, which is increasing intensity, and you can see that through mesocycle 1 and 2. Mesocycle 1, your resistance training, it's a moderate weight, 3 sets, 8 to 10 reps. Some reps being 10 to 15 depending on the exercise, and aerobic exercise is 10 to 20 minutes. Mesocycle 2, resistance training is heavy weight, 3 sets, decreasing your reps to 6 to 8. Some reps being 15 to 20 depending on exercise, so that is going to be bumped up to 15 to 20 rather than 10 to 15. And then your aerobic exercise is longer, so it's 15 to 30 minutes. Here is the upper extremity. You could see my client. You could go on the YouTube and see him do the upper body and lower body extremities. Upper extremity, he did do the eyes wide T's, and what I did see is his shoulders, everything that he did, the I, the Y, and the T, it was way too high, and that's going to hurt his shoulders. And his lower extremity, we did the single leg Romanian deadlift, and I did no weight just to get his technique down, because when he did do it the very first time, he was falling over, he didn't complete it right, his leg wasn't going out straight, so I corrected him, demonstrated it for him, and he felt more confident while doing that. So the application and faith integration. What I learned from my career goal is to work in sports constantly. I don't know exactly what I want to do, but is to be patient with my client. You're not going to get it right away. You're not going to know. I learned to lead, train, and functionally supervise my staff, which was my client and anyone that was working with me, my video camera guy, anyone, just to get the materials right. And to organize and coordinate skills, since we were working some days at a gym or some days at my house, in the garage, just having the organization and the proper equipment for it. And I even learned to use the gym equipment that I was unfamiliar with. I don't like the gym. I'm more of a high interval training person rather than equipment. So I learned some equipment, which is really cool. What I need to improve and something that I'm going to do in the future is my technique in coaching. My very first videos, I did not demonstrate. I just verbally told him, and sometimes I need to realize that um, people are visual learners, or some people need to hear it, and I need to do both to help my client become successful. When explaining technique, to talk slower, pause, explain terminology that was used if client does not understand, and make sure my client understood what is being explained. And to have answers to all questions, I'm going to be honest, I don't know a lot of the answers if my client did ask me, but I would definitely get him an answer right there and then. I would look it up, I would ask other people around me. So I'm not afraid to ask questions, and that's something that what's going to help improve us too, is to ask questions. So the biblical aspect of it, Romans 5:3-5. I'm going to bring that up. Not only so, but we also glorify in our sufferings, because we know that suffering produces perseverance. Perseverance, character, and character, hope. And hope does not put us to shame, because God's love has been poured out in our hearts through Holy Spirit who has been given us. So I kind of related this to a workout. When a workout is intense and you see a client suffering through the workout, but as a trainer, you're going to remind your client that the outcome of it is all worth all the turmoil. It's going to hurt, all the pain, the burn. It's going to be all worth it. And that's something that's very important, is that our client's ready to give up because he feels the pain, or he or she feels the pain. But it's so important to keep pushing our client in that way. Exodus 14:14, the Lord will fight for you. You only need to be still. I think this is something very important. The Lord is fighting for your body for the results. The Lord is going to be there for when the time comes for your results. Even though I see this a lot with clients, is that even though you don't see results like in the same day or the same week, the Lord wants you to be patient, because it's going to come as long as you're working hard and really going through with what you set for yourself. It's going to pay off, and that's something that is very important. Deuteronomy 31:6, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them, for the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. It's very difficult to start a new client off at a gym, mostly because they're embarrassed, because they don't know the technique, they don't know the exercise, they don't know a lot of the new stuff that is being done. As a trainer, you know all this stuff. So I think it's very important for a trainer, even a trainer telling your client, is to don't be afraid of people around you. The Lord is by you. The Lord is going to help you. You're going to learn through this whole process. And I think it's very important that we continue to keep reminding our clients that keep going. Who cares what you look like, as long as you're getting it done. As a trainer, you're there to guide them into the right direction, to the right way, to the right techniques and stuff like that. So I think it's very important in that aspect. These three really hit home with me, so these are the three that I chose. And that's all for my presentation. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, see you next time. Bye, guys.